most intriguing careers at the helm of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. Just what does the outgoing chairperson Wafula Chebukati think about the tenure? We'll be telling you that plus more ahead in this broadcast. But first, let's have a look at the highlights. Over 30,000 learners from 2,673 schools miss out on their schools of choice.
During the selection process, it became clear that a large number of candidates did not receive proper guidance and direction when choosing schools. This resulted in some schools attracting far many applicants against their capacity,
with other schools recording an extremely high number of requests as compared to their capacity. Curtains come down on outgoing IEBC chairperson Wafula Chebukati's tenure at the helm of the electoral body.
As commissioners and staff of IEBC are always subject to ethnic profiling during campaigns and public rallies, making them insecure and susceptible to attacks.
The exiting commissioners revealing behind-the-scenes intrigues that rocked their unity in the run-up to the presidential results announcement. And TV47 visited a man who claims to have powers beyond human comprehension to investigate the claims.
Macho yangu haya sioni kanisa ambalo linaweza simama mbele ya Mungu.
What do the locals think of him? Well, good evening once more, and thank you for joining us for this edition of News Tonight. My name is Eric Munene. Our sign language interpreter is Catherine Simaloi. Now, teachers, parents, and other education stakeholders have been urged to fully involve themselves in the Form 1 selection process to ensure that students get support and guidance when choosing their preferred secondary schools. And as Andrin Kilemi reports, Education CES Ezekiel Machogu says that at least 33,984 students from 2,673 schools missed out on their schools of choice, even as other schools recorded extremely high number of requests as compared to their capacity. Have a look.
All the 1.2 million candidates who sat their Kenya Certificate of Primary Education examination last year will...
These barriers to secondary education, the Ministry will continue working with the Ministry of Interior and the coordination of national government to facilitate the enrollment of every child in secondary school.
The selection exercise, which is the last for learners under the 844 system, further revealed that a large number of candidates did not receive proper guidance while choosing schools. Statistics show that some schools had an overwhelming number of applicants compared to their capacity.
During the selection process, it became clear that a large number of candidates did not receive proper guidance and direction when choosing schools. This resulted in some schools attracting far many applicants against their capacities.
Kabianga High School tops the list of schools that attracted far many applicants, with over 153,000 candidates against a capacity of 768. Nanyuki High School and Nyandarua High School also had a high number of applicants, with 148,827 and 137,511 respectively, against their capacity of 576 and 240. Other schools that recorded extremely high number of requests include Pangani Girls High School, Maseno School, Alliance Girls High School, Nakuru High School, Kapsabet Boys, Mangu High School, and Butere Girls High School.
Thank you very much.
Education CS now calling on parents, teachers, and other education stakeholders to ensure our candidates make wise choices through proper guidance. The long wait for parents, teachers, and the over 1.2 million candidates who sat their Kenya Certificate of Primary Education test last year has come to an end, with the candidates now expected to join their respective secondary schools starting February 6th this year. Andrin Kilemi, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, over 1.2 million grade 6 students who sat for their Kenya primary school education assessment exams are expected to receive their results from Tuesday, January 17th. Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu has also announced that junior secondary students will be wearing a different school uniform from the rest of the students. Collins Lusweti with more on that story.
After many questions over transition into junior secondary education, Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu had plenty of answers. No fees will be imposed on grade 7 learners in public day schools unless the school has a boarding section. Machogu says the government has set aside 9.6 billion shillings to facilitate learning activities in public junior secondary schools.
There will be no school fees payable in any of our public schools because you know that this is the constitutional requirement that the basic education, primary to secondary, is compulsory and free.
Additionally, the Teacher Service Commission is in the process of recruiting 30,000 new teachers, majority of whom will be attached to junior secondary, with graduate teachers currently in primary schools given first priority.
So the issue of lack of teachers to teach in junior secondary school does not arise, and they have also been accordingly prepared to undertake this particular assignment.
The new grade 7 learners are expected to report on January 30th, with the majority of primary schools meeting the Ministry of Education standards on hosting junior secondary schools. The grade 7 learners will wear different uniforms from the rest of the students.
So we are also saying that at this particular level, because it is secondary, the uniform will not be the same, and each and every board of management will be able to make a decision as to the color and the type of uniform that students would be required to put on. And of course, as is the case, parents would have to bear the responsibility of buying uniforms for their children.
A number of parents have reacted to the directive requiring grade 7 students to wear a different school uniform from the rest.
Kidogo tu kiwaso badala ya kupima ile walikuwa nayo wapime kwanza sahi. Si wamekaa nyumbani karibu mwezi miwili na hiyo uniform nafikiri alafu wamekula zaidi. Siri sasa waanze tu kubadilishwa.
Kama ni upande ya kuendelea the same school, mimi ningependa at least ikuwe tu ni uniform. Kwa the same uniform, in the same school.
It's all system go for grade 6 learners who are expected to join grade 7 or junior secondary school come next term. Even though in the same school, but they find comfort and joy in the fact that they'll be in a different school uniform from the rest, that is grade 1 to grade 6. Collins Lusweti, TV47, Nairobi.
Well, thank you, Collins Lusweti, for that. Now, tonight, IBC Chairperson Wafula Chebukati and two other commissioners, Professor Abdi Guliye and Boya Molu, have said that they have no regrets or apologies to make during their tenure at the Commission's helm. The three who presided over their last public engagement before their final day in office on Tuesday recalled the bomber's chaos and how they saved their lives. TV47's Apollo Kamau reports on an exit with a mixed bag of fortunes for IBC commissioners.
After serving 6 years since taking over office in 2017 and overseeing 2 presidential elections and a repeat poll, IEBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati and 2 commissioners, Professor Abdi Guliye and Bolumoya, held their final public engagement as commissioners, with Tuesday being their final day in office. The three saying they leave office with their heads held high, adding that they have no apologies to make from a tenure that saw them stand firm against a heavy onslaught to remove them from office.
This launch marks my last duty as the chairman of the commission. I exceed a very contented man, and I say we gave it our best. We charted and weathered the storms that threatened the existence of the commission. We endured relentless fatigue in our preparation for election. We mustered high courage to overcome perils of democracy, and we delivered the sacred will of the people of Kenya.
As I leave office, I am satisfied that I did my best for my country and my people. I leave IEBC stronger and better than I found it. And as I leave, I have no apologies to make to anybody.
The journey of IEBC as institution must continue. Despite who comes and leaves, the commission must remain and must continue, because minus IEBC, Kenya cannot stand.
Despite the three commissioners' honorable exit, the picture is not so rosy for the Cherera Four, who are facing charges before the Aggrey Mchelule-led tribunal that will resume its sittings next week to determine their fate. Chebukati and his fellow commissioners recalling the bombers' fiasco that nearly cost them their lives.
I recall going into Siberia in my own country together with Commissioner Molu and CEO Marjan. We went into hiding. We had to put off our phones, leave them in bombers, send away our security, and we rode in a Noah to a unknown location.
I also thank God that we have made it to the end of our 6-year journey, where for the entire period, removal from office has always been hanging on our head. But with the grace of God, we have made it to this.
They say 3 musketeers. And so they went into Siberia, but they are not telling me where I was. Of course, I was in my house, taking my cups of tea and waiting if anybody is coming on the door. Of course, nobody came.
EU Envoy Henriette Geiger, Attorney General Justin Muturi, and Council of Governors Chairperson Anne Waiguru, among other leaders, paying tribute to Chebukati and the IEBC team for having navigated through the landmines.
These patriots deliver the election results that make Kenya's election the pinnacle of Africa's democratic experience. Lost in the noise at Bomas is the story of these patriots. Even when some pay the ultimate price for their integrity with their lives, as happened with the returning officer in Ambakasi.
Chebukati has cited the enrollment of 2.7 million new voters and increased voter registration centers in the diaspora as some of his achievements, coupled with election technology, a public election portal, and the audit of the voters' register that addressed election systemic challenges, making the 2022 election a success. Chebukati and the two commissioners' exit marks a new chapter in the life of IEBC, a new team, and a raft of reforms for a stable 2027 general election. Apol Kamau, TV47 in Nairobi.
And still on that commission, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC Chairperson Wafula Chebukati led his co-commissioners to the launch of the post-election evaluation report for the August 9th, 2022 general election. This was their last public official engagement before leaving office this Tuesday, following their 6 years tenure at the helm of the commission.
IEBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati led his commissioners Monday to the launch of the post-election evaluation report for the 9th August 2022 general election, reflecting on the 6-year term, which he says was successful despite a few shortcomings. The outgoing chair admitting that IEBC may have not been fully prepared for the August 2017 general election, which was nullified, and it had worked on achieving a credible election since then. Chebukati said the commission had asked President William Ruto to form a public inquiry for investigation to determine the level of government interference before the announcement of the presidential results in the August 2022 election.
The outcome of the inquiry, we believe, will bolster the independence of the commission and ensure that it maintains the stature contemplated by the Constitution. It will also enable a future election environment devoid of harassment, intimidation, profiling, and harm of commission staff while discharging their duties.
Allow me now to
The Commission addressed the gaps identified in the legal framework and subsequently drafted and submitted bills to Parliament for enactment. However, Chebukati said the proposed bills were not enacted, thus negatively impacting the conduct of elections. Further, last-minute court rulings affected the Commission's operations against stringent legal and operational electoral timelines.
Additionally, the processes had already been concluded by the previous commission, and there was no time to make any major reviews or adjustments.
In the report, Chebukati said the results transmission system successfully transmitted all the 46,229 presidential results forms from the polling stations to the public portal, translating to 100% attainment rate. Additionally, over 380 million requests were made to access the presidential results forms. This, according to the outgoing chair, enhanced transparency of the 2022 presidential election results.
It's good manners internationally that election laws need to be passed at least 2 years before elections, or at worst 1 year before elections.
He said the audit of the register of voters was conducted and the commission implemented the recommendations made therein. The outgoing commissioners termed delays in passing of the election laws and irregular funding as the main challenges they faced during their 6 years tenure in the office.
We have the 13th Parliament, which I'm sure should look at these bills and pass the necessary amendments to the election law, at least 2 years or at least 1 year before elections, so that the Commission can prepare adequately.
Whereas the Commission received 100% funding of its budget, there were delays in the Exchequer release. He said the non-operationalization of the IBC further hindered adequate preparations for the 2022 general elections. However, if the commission is not controlled, Chebukati said interference from outside players with vested interest may reappear in future, insisting on the need to initiate an investigation.
It's expected that the commission be funded throughout the 5-year electoral cycle, but this doesn't happen. And we normally get funding the last election year. This hampers our electoral activities.
In his report, Chebukati said the commission conducted elections for Kenyan citizens residing outside the country in 12 jurisdictions, namely United States of America, United Kingdom, Canada, United Arab Emirates, among others. This was progressive compared to 2017, whereby the Commission conducted elections in only 5 countries in Africa. The three go into history books as the first set of electoral officers to complete their constitutional term. Mike Kagwongo, TV47, Nairobi.
Well, now the process to replace Independent Electoral and Boundaries commissioners whose term has come to an end and others who have resigned has officially begun. A selection panel for the appointment of new electoral commissioners is set to be constituted. Outgoing IEBC chairperson Wafula Chebukati, Commissioner Abdi Guliye and Commissioner Boy Amolu are expected to serve the commission until the close of business tomorrow. But what happens next to fill these vacancies? Moigi William has more on that story.
It is the end of an era for Wafula Chebukati, sitting at the helm of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission after serving in the commission for 6 consecutive years, starting January 2017. And now, Chebukati, together with Commissioners Boy Amolu and Abdi Guliye, will go down in history as commissioners who went against all odds to successfully conclude their constitutional term. Chebukati now sharing some words of wisdom to those who will succeed him.
6 years we have seen. We need men and women who are of integrity, who are impartial, who are ready to serve the country. If you are partisan in nature or if you are sponsored by an individual or political party, that IEBC is not a place for you.
To those who will be bearing the responsibility of replacing us with other Kenyans, is that the IEBC office as chair or commissioners is not for the faint-hearted.
The development also means that the commission will not be legally constituted as of Tuesday, as 3 other commissioners resigned last month to avoid facing a tribunal over their conduct during the August 2022 presidential election. Vice Chair Juliana Cherera, Francis Wanderi and Justus Nyang'aya called it quits last month to avoid facing the Justice Aggrey Muchelule-led tribunal set to probe their conduct after disowning results of the August 2022 presidential election. It is also likely to impact the Commission's ongoing delimitation on boundaries exercise set to be concluded by 2024, with stakeholders now calling for a speedy creation of a selection panel.
IBC needs to be insulated against any interference or attempts of the same by any other organs of state or individuals. These commissions and independent offices must be protected.
A proposal has been made to change the composition of the selection panel for the appointment of electoral commissioners by reducing the 4 slots allocated to the Parliamentary Service Commission to 2, and have the Public Service Commission and Political Parties Liaison Committee nominate 1 person each. The Justice and Legal Affairs Committee is currently compiling public views before presenting a report to the National Assembly.
So we moved with speed, and I'm happy that the National Assembly, before going to recess, and passed that legislative proposal, and that now, Honorable Kaduri, I'm happy that you have actually called the House.
And on Thursday this week, we have been recalled from our recess or our holiday to come back so that we can prosecute that bill on Thursday, the 19th of this week. This bill will give the process on how the new commissioners will be recruited.
Parliament, as you vet commissioners, please ensure the commission is not populated by political stooges. This is a national commission. It is not a place for political rewards.
According to a previous ruling by the Supreme Court, the IEBC is fully constituted when it has at least 3 commissioners, which will not be the case starting January 18, 2023, until new commissioners take the oath of office. Mwige William, TV47, Nairobi.
Look for us in the street.
Convicted of conspiring with terrorists to bomb the Kenyatta International Convention Center in 2019.
There is no doubt that the accused person knew KICC very well, having worked for a company called Altec Africa, as confirmed by PW2, a principal security officer at KICC, and his workmate then by the name Martin Dolo.
According to the senior principal magistrate, Bwire admitted that he had been enrolled to collect intelligence reports on KICC's security details, parking areas and its environs prior to the attack by terrorists.
The accused collected and transmitted information on security arrangements of Kenyatta International Conference Center using his mobile phone and Infix 04+. On a Facebook account, Mohamed Yari Abdallah, which information was to be used in commission of a terrorist act.
Bwire is alleged to have opened 3 Facebook accounts which he used to collect data and disseminate the same to Somalia, as well as to the recruiting mastermind Mohamed Yari Abdallah.
The accused himself in his defense admitted to have opened the Facebook accounts and having been the one communicating with the alleged persons.
The magistrate further stated that, according to prosecution, a forensic analysis of phones seized from Bwire showed that he had sent information on KICC's security arrangement to contacts in Somalia.
The accused collected and transmitted information on security arrangements of Kenyatta International Conference Center using his mobile phone and Infix 04+.
The court revealed that the evidence adduced before it by an FBI detective, Scott John, gave links to the impending terror attack on government buildings, including Supreme Court, KICC and NSSF buildings in Nairobi.
It is my finding that the collection and transmission of the information about KICC and looked at cumulatively, I find that the information was for no other purpose, but it was geared towards and meant to aid and the accused is convicted.
After the information was revealed, government security forces were deployed to the targeted buildings and undercover detectives were placed in key areas around the targeted government offices to collect information and data that led to the arrest of Bwire and his co-accused Yare. Chichi Josephine, TV47.
Still in the corridors of justice, the Makadara Law Court has ordered the 21-day detention of a man, Stephen Dedan Karanja, who is accused of using his deceased friend's phone to extort money, from his family. Karanja is alleged to have contacted and extorted money from the late friend's mother, brother and sister multiple times before being caught. The family became suspicious and filed a missing persons report on January 4th, leading to the arrest of the accused on January 13th.
According to the investigation officer who testified in court, the accused was arrested on January 13th by Kasarani police officers. The arrest was made after it was discovered that the accused was impersonating Victor Wangai, who had been reported missing. Dedan, who reportedly contacted the late friend's mother, brother and sister, is said to have extorted money from them multiple times before being caught.
Mobile phone and the mobile number 0712 490 938
0712
490 938 to chat with the deceased family members and friends via WhatsApp. Your Honor, through the WhatsApp excerpts that we got printouts from the family members, the respondent was extorting money from the deceased family members and the friends by personating the deceased owner.
The family filed a missing persons report at Kahawa West Police Station on January 4th before launching a search party in police stations, hospitals and morgues. The deceased body was found at the Kenyatta National Hospital mortuary on January 10th.
We were several family members there. So this fourth one, everyone looked at him and no one talked to each other, but I don't know whether it's the blood or what, but his face was like kind of in a mess because we could not see his eyes, and he has a burn on his left side. We were questioning ourselves and we went outside. We asked each and everyone, what have you noted to this for the guy? And we were like, let us go back and check again. They allowed us to go back and check. Again we went. Again we could say it's like him, it's not him.
Reports indicate that the deceased was admitted at Kenyatta National Hospital on December 1st, 2022 as a referral patient from St. Francis Community Hospital. Detectives are yet to establish the whereabouts of the deceased's phone, which they believe is in the possession of the main suspect. They will also be contacting the hospitals where the deceased sought treatment in order to determine the cause of death. Zainab Mohammed, TV47.
Well, time now for a very short break, but don't go away, we will be back with more.
Imagine starting your academic journey here at the foot of Mount Kenya, a place where you can call home. A place where we celebrate our diversity and uniqueness. A place where you can be at your best, at work.
Here, like you see, these are the fabrics we use for the sofas. Yeah, there are different types of fabrics. Sabak.
This is the best way to go. Eat color, eat raw, you know, like this is alive.
Well, 2022 is behind us. 2023 is here with us. What are your plans? We here at TV47's Morning Cafe have great plans for you. We're talking about information, we're talking about entertainment, we're talking about the greatness for the year. So make sure that you're always with us every morning.
Supermarket ndio best. Kwa mara nyingine tunakuletea chota kuchota na Hetia Supermarket. Ushiriki shindano la chota kuchota duet Bunawe, Kitale, Bungoma, Eldoret, Kakamega, Kisumu, Busia, Naivasha, Limuru, Nairobi, Thika, Nyeri, Meru, Chuka na Maua. Nunua bidhaa ya shilingi 600 na zaidi na utapewa raffle ticket. Jaza vizuri na utumbukize kwa sanduku iliyo mlangoni. Utakuwa umeingia kwa draw ya kujishindia zawadi Daihatsu Mira, pikipiki 21 aina ya TVS, 1130 school fees, TVS, shopping vouchers na vingine vingi.
Basi, ni huku.
Chota kuchota imethaminiwa na Uwe Bacon, Savannah Juice Fruit Vial, My Choice Hand Wash, Zesta Choco Primo, Ketepa, Blue Band, Aramco, Oven Fresh Bread, Nivea, Silent Night Mattresses, Coca-Cola pamoja na Hisense. Shindano hili limeidhinishwa na BCLB permit number 002816. Sheria na masharti kutumika.
Chota kuchota na Hetia Supermarket, na hii motokaa kari smart kabisa inaweza kuwa yako. Unangoja nini? Ingia, fanya shopping yako Hetia Supermarket, uchoto kuchote na hii kari, hii motokaa inaweza kuwa yako. Mtu anaweza pesa kwa busi.
Hetia Supermarket, a world of choice.
Hey!
Kaluma King Herbal Lozenges zinazo nguvu maradufu kutuliza kikohozi, vidonda vya koo na mafua. Kaluma King ni shwari.
Tika mama huyo muharifu kaiba kuku zangu, vifaranga wangu na mayai zote pia kabeba. Haya, tika mama huyo.
Maumivu yakizidi, muone daktari.
Are you looking for a distinguished institution of academic and professional excellence to kickstart your career? Then join KIPS Technical College, a top NEC, CASNEB and NEET examination center in Kenya that is fully accredited by TVET Authority with over 90% national exam pass rate. We offer high quality, hands-on training in engineering, hospitality, tourism, journalism, ICT, business, accounting, hairdressing and beauty, health sciences, community development and foreign language, and have placed over 26,000 graduates since 1994. Our state-of-the-art equipment, well-equipped workshops, indoor and outdoor sports facilities make us the preferred choice.
During my training, I was able to become Miss KIPS, which has helped me to achieve my goals in community development.
Admissions for January 2023 intake is ongoing. For more information, call 0720-813-113 or visit any of our 6 campuses located within Nairobi. KIPS Technical College, your sure path to success.
Usiyakubalie maumivu ya misuli kukatiza ratiba yako. Kaluma Pain Balm ni dawa ya kusugua iliyotengenezwa kutoka kwa miche maalum ili kutuliza maumivu ya misuli. Kaluma Pain Balm. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Now, teachers who specialize in protecting children from sexual abuse have highlighted the various challenges that they face in their work, including the complexity of cases, lack of funding, and lengthy court processes. The teachers are now calling for a fast tracking of all cases involving children and are urging members of the communities to partner with child rights activists to help support affected minors. The advocacy group Beacons Teachers Africa also noted that some cases have taken an excessive amount of time and that some children end up suffering while the adults responsible go free and others are embarrassed to pursue justice.
Is concerned, and this is because these are cases that likely attract a lot of conflicts. They likely also create a lot of vulnerabilities, increased vulnerabilities for not just the child, but even for the families. And therefore it would help if the courts were faster in resolving these cases, so that at least the case is resolved while the child is still a child. We have some of them, the cases started when the children were children, now they're adults. You don't know whether you're dealing with a child case or you're dealing with a child adult or you're dealing with whatever case.
Beacon Teachers is primarily interested in child protection. There are many things that are being done to our children, especially rape, early marriages, some cultural activities that teachers handle and help to resolve, either at a school or even in courts. So the Beacons of Embu have teamed up for their team building, at least to debrief after a year experience, together with professional counselors to help them to start 2023.
Moving on now, the Council of Governors, in partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture, has today launched a national agricultural value chain development plan, which will be funded by the World Bank and the national government until 2028. The project is aimed at increasing the nation's GDP through the sectors, ensuring food security at all times, and creating new employment opportunities for the youth.
The $250 million development plan is scheduled to run until 2028 to ensure the realization of agriculture and marine sectors' key objectives. The launch has come in advantage of the ongoing induction workshop for the newly elected County Executive Committee members for Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries.
And therefore the people who sit here today, you are the greatest contributor to our economy. And that is why it's important that we understand what we are going to do right from the beginning. Your roles are anchored and recognized in the Constitution of Kenya and the County Governments Act. The legal frameworks which vest upon you powers also bestows upon you the duty to deliver to the citizens of this country and to ensure that devolution works.
Salim Mvurya, CS for Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs, was in attendance, whereby he has assured his commitments towards broadening the sector's outlook while empowering artisanal fishermen with training and issuing them with modern fishing gears for efficient hustle.
The oceans, the rivers, the lakes of our country have numerous opportunities to the citizens of Kenya. We have a lot of opportunities that can realize gains in increased incomes, increased food security, and also contribute immensely to our country's GDP.
On the other hand, Bungoma County Governor Kenneth Lusaka, who also serves as the chairperson of Council of Governors Agriculture Committee, has promised to bring in reforms to the agricultural sector, which is regarded as the backbone of the Kenyan economy, through its contribution of at least 33% of the GDP.
Do not shy away from seeking guidance from your previous colleagues as well as those at the national level. It is therefore important at this juncture to point out some of the pertinent sector issues for consideration during your deliberations during this week. These include enactment and implementation of sector policies, laws and regulations to govern the sector. These are the instruments that will guide you and the county government as a whole in performance of your functions.
Paul Munio, TV47.
Now, Jesus of Tongaren, a father of 8 children with 1 wife, claims to have forgotten his birth name after being filled with the Holy Spirit in 2009 to serve the Lord. However, the self-proclaimed Jesus has raised many questions among citizens following reports on social media that he was, or rather has, the ability to turn water into tea. How is this possible? A reporter traveled to Lukokwe village in the Tongaren constituency of Bungoma County to investigate and filed the following report.
It is 80 kilometers from Bungoma town, a journey that takes us 2 hours to reach Lukokwe village in Tongaren constituency. Here, we meet the self-proclaimed Jesus of Tongaren, who has surprised the world not once, not twice, but severally, claiming to have been performing miracles we find him busy training some of his followers who have been fasting for the last few days. Before entering the main church, one must go through this small house to cleanse their sins according to adherents of the faith. In the church, he is surrounded by 12 people who he calls his disciples, 6 men on his right-hand side and 6 women on the left side. Here, we are not allowed to set foot on the altar. Believers of all ages are following the service keenly, step by step.
Wanamsifu Mungu, wanamtukuza Yesu, maana Yesu ni njia. Salamu za Yesu. Amina. Alafu wewe uamuko useme Yesu asifiwe, na watu hawaitiki. Ukikutuka usingizini, utasema ya kwamba hawa watu hawana Yesu ndani mwao. Tafsiri ya maono hayo: hawa wana ambao Yakobo aliwawekea mikono, Manase na Ephraim, kila mmoja pia ana 12,000. Ukiweka pamoja si 1144, pali ni 1168 ambao watakombolewa katika uso wa dunia. Sasa wanavunzi hawa na keti na 12 wasawa wa Yakobo na wana wa Yusufu, Ephraim na Manase.
After the sermon, Yesu wa Tongareni leads his followers in going around the church 7 times, singing and dancing.
Nikiona malaika akiwa ni malaika Akipo, sauti ya Mungu iseme, tazama malaika Akipo amesimama na tarumbeta. Akipo wa duniani, sunguka mara 7 hema. Wacha watupe mshale pembe 4 za dunia. Wananiambia ngoja ngurumo. Ngoja tetemeko la ardhi. Tunaandika matukio yote. Tunapoandika hayo matukio, hao pia niko na nyota 7. Pia niko na nyota 4. Tukiwamo nabii Samsoni mwana ambaye amesaliwa tu hapa. Na anaonekana kwa maumbile ni mtoto, lakini kilicho ndani ni yule aliyemkamata simba, akamuua, akafanya simba kuwa kitoweo cha asali ndani akalamba.
But who is Jesus of Tongarin and where did he come from?
Kuna walimu wengi wa sheria hapa duniani, lakini hawaambii watu mapenzi ya Mungu. Haswa kisasi hiki, hukumu ambayo inakuja ni kali sana. Macho yangu haya sioni kanisa ambalo linaweza simama mbele ya Mungu. Huwa natangazia hawa na ninawapa sababu. Sasa wengi wamekuja kwa jina nitasema sasa wamekuja kwa jina langu, waseme mimi na mhubiri Yesu, ili hali imekuwa kiteka ujumi kwao. Lakini hawaambii watu ya wapazayo ufalme wa mbinguni.
He claims that he doesn't remember his original names after he was called by the Holy Spirit, and neither does he have an identification card, but according to his neighbors, he is called Eliud Wekesa.
Wale wazazi walikuwa wamenipa wakati, yani nasema sauti ya Mungu vile ilinena na mimi 2009, kuanzia 2008 2009, sauti ikasema hivi: mwanangu, utukuzwe duniani kwa miaka 77. Sahau hilo jina. Sasa mara nyingi hata hawa wageni wenye wanakuja hapa, nikitamka tu, nikisema hata nitamke, huenda ulimi unakwama.
Brothers wanted to use part of their land to educate him, but he reasoned that they'll misuse the land when he's away. So he said he wanted to be a farmer and started farming.
His followers claims that he has been performing miracles, with the most recent one allegedly turning water to tea.
Hali yenye nilikuwemo, matatizo ya magonjwa, matatizo ya shida mbalimbali, amani katika nyumba haikuwa. Sasa vile niliingia hapa Yesu, nikapata suluhisho. Kumaanisha yeye unapoingia na uwe na imani, ufuate sharia, maana yeye ni kukuelimisha. Kazi yake ni kukuelimisha sharia. Na wewe unapo itikia hii sharia, ufuate maagizo, suluhisho utapata. Na hiyo ndio tunaona muujiza Yesu anatutendea. Hiyo muujiza inatokana na Mungu. Upande wa Yesu kuelezea muujiza
itakuwa huenda nakipa sifa.
Hata ukienda kule kwa shamba ya Yesu utembee, mfano ni Yesu mwenyewe. Yesu analima miwa, Yesu analima mboga, kuna miro huko kunde, hata nyinyi mkitaka mtapitia kwa mchuneko muende mkule.
Jesus of Tongaren says that in 460 days, the government of Kenya shall be ready to accommodate all of the world nations.
Sasa pia itasimama. Na huyu mtawala mwenye ako sasa huyu wetu huyu, yeye ajipange kukaribisha mataifa yote Kenya. Nilitokezewa juzi ono.
His wife named Nabii Benjamin says that they have been facing objection from their families, but that has not been an issue to them and it will not stop them from serving the people.
Kusema ukweli mbele ya Baba Mungu na mbele ya malaika watakatifu, nabii haheshimiwi kwao. Na kulingana na hali venye walijua hii hali iko, kwanza nikakaa na baba yangu msasi, nikamuelezea chinzi yeye ni mchungaji. Tena ako na cheo kubwa sana katika hekalu. Na nikamwarifu ya kwamba, kichana yako yeye ni Yesu. Na kulingana na maandiko matakatifu nikawa namuelimisha vitabu fulani. Naye akanijibu, wewe ni mwenda simu. Kwa maana hata Paulo alihubiri injili, alihubiri vibaya sana, wakamtandika viboko 39 kasoro moja.
In the western parts of the country, some people have been emerging proclaiming themselves as whole people in the Bible. Jesus of Tongaren says that he has no relationship with another religious leader who named himself Jehovah Wanyonyi, who died few years ago, as well as Nabii Yohana Watano.
Amuoni michengo ya dunia imewekwa Judge of God na ni ukuta tu. Sasa hiyo ilikuwa mambo yake ya Jehova Wanyonyi. Yohana ambaye mnamtaja huyu pia sina uhusiano na yeye. Sina uhusiano pia na yeye nduku Zostin Wanje.
And who qualifies to be a follower of Jesus of Tongaren? He says that one must respect the Sabbath day and one who is not forced to call him Jesus.
Sheria ya pili, hili hekalu watu hawasuki nywele. Hawapaki wanja, hawali nguruwe wala sungura. Imeandikwa kwa Walawi 11:6 kuendelea. Walao nguruwe wote pia sehemu yao ni jehanamu na sungura. Hawapaki lipstick. Hawaweki pete ya harusi mkononi, hiki kipete hiki. Ring. Pete ni Biblia. Maana inasema malasi iheshimiwe. Ndoa na iheshimiwe, usimtamani mume wa mwingine wala mke wa mwingine. Lakini haka kapete ni chapa ya mnyama.
Wanji Sostin, TV47. Bungoma.
Well, what do you think about that? Sostin Wanji, thank you for that. We move on. Farmers in Trans Nzoia are eagerly awaiting a visit from President William Ruto as he prepares to launch a subsidized fertilizer program. However, there are concerns as low numbers of registration are being reported at local chiefs' offices. Our reporter Isaac Famba has more on that story.
As the rain season approaches in Trans Nzoia County, agricultural activities are ramping up as farmers prepare their land for cultivation. In anticipation of the president's visit in the county, local leaders are urging farmers to come out in large numbers and register for the fertilizer in readiness for the planting season. Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya said the registry will help in identifying true farmers and weed out masqueraders who may try to interfere with the process.
Rais wa Kenya anakuja Trans Nzoia kulonji mbolea kwa taifa mzima, anafanyia wapi? Trans Nzoia. Sasa yukuja hapa na apate watu wajarejeza, itakuwa mzuri. Tumeona watetu. Tuko pamoja.
Kwanza MP Ferdinand Wanyonyi, who is also a member of Agricultural Committee in the National Assembly, has praised the move, saying it will provide a solution to food importation.
Wakulima waandikishwe. And I'm making it very clear, waandikishwe. Ili sasa kama kuna eka 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 uandikishwe hapa, ili sasa itakuwa subsidized fertilizer utakuwa rahisi kuja hapa, I think using M-Pesa, ndio watakuwa na hiyo M-Pesa, alafu unapewa hiyo fertilizer zako.
Some farmers have raised concern about the move, saying it lacks a legal structure to prevent the middlemen from using the opportunity to resell the fertilizer and profit without contributing to the farming processes.
Unajua sasa wale watu wanaenda wanajiandikisha kwa chief, wanapewa hiyo fertilizer. Wakishapewa hiyo fertilizer, wanaenda wanauzia broker agrovet. So the government should enhance hiyo policy yake, ili wale wanaopewa mbolea wahakikishe, serikali hakikisha through chief, village elders, wale wa nyumba 10, ya kwamba huyo mkulima ni ukweli amechukua mbolea na amepanda mbegu.
Isaac Famba, TV47, Trans Nzoia County.
Time now to cross over to the world of sports. My colleague Dennis Otieno, who also happens to be a Manchester United fan, as myself, is in studio with me. We are very happy people this week, Dennis.
Absolutely, Eric. Allow me to say Happy New Year for the first time being with you on set.
Thank you.
But I tell you what, tonight we have a lot that's lined up for you in the world of sports. We shall be telling you what transpired in Kisumu County when the Kikoska Games kicked off. We shall also be telling you about the results registered in the Safari Tour Golf Series. Those among many other sports stories that we've lined up for you tonight. But to start us off is Matters Sports Shooting. Now, preparations for the IDPA sports shooting competition slated for April 4th to 9th this year at the Kirigiti shooting range are on high gear, as the Kenya Sports Shooting Federation held an IPSC shooting competition for Kenyan participants to gauge their prowess in the sport and further sharpen their skills. Competitions and training captain Sami Onyango noted that the IPSC competition was the first competitive event being held this year and attracted 131 registered participants who would form the national sports shooting team in the coming 2 years. Onyango also revealed that the federation is ready to host the IDPA championship as they target to attract more participants from Europe, USA and also South Africa.
Tournament we have in April is a different tournament. It's one for International Defensive Pistol Association. We normally have two different kinds of pistol disciplines. One of them is the IPSC and the other one is IDPA. So the one in April is going to be an IDPA competition where we have all teams coming from all over the world coming to participate in Africa. It's called African Championship, but it's not only for African countries. It is usually for all countries across the world. It's going to be held from the 4th to the 9th of April during Easter holidays, which is going to be held here in Kirigiti. And these preparations that we are having today were mainly for the World Shoot that is going to be held again in 4 to 5 years, 2 years to come, and that is for the IPSC. But in April we are having an IDPA championship where we are welcoming every Kenyan, especially the licensed firearm holders, to be able to come and converge here, because all other countries will be converging in Kenya, and it's best when visitors come, they find the owners of the country waiting for them. So our preparations and our teams are well trained.
Now, as the Kenya Inter-County Sports and Cultural Association Kikoska tournament kicks off today in Kisumu County, 7 teams that will represent Migori County have been encouraged to make the county proud in the games by registering good results and bagging accolades. Speaking during the flag-off ceremony, Migori County Governor Dr. Ochilo Ayako urged the team to be good ambassadors and represent the county in the best way possible to uplift the image of the county. Governor Ayako also noted that his administration will allocate more funds in the future to increase the number of teams that will be competing in the Kikoska Games, adding that the tournament helps unite the country when people from all corners of Kenya meet and compete. Meanwhile, Migori County Committee Executive Member for Sports Beatrice Samburu emphasized that they are looking to reorganize the county tournaments in the near future to help promote talent.
Our resources, and we will have sports in Migori County, all the way from wards up to the finals in the county. We are going to ensure that we are a jubilant and a playful county, not just playful, but a county that believes in team spirit.
Next coming month in February, we have already negotiated with the national teams, and we are going to establish Migori Sports Council, where we will bring all the champions who are coming from Migori who have been international and national, and we will be able to have a very vibrant sports in Migori, and I believe by December we will have the best teams in Migori.
And on the same breath, the government, through the Ministry of Sports, Youth Affairs and Arts, has assured county governments that it will work together to improve the status of sports in the counties. Speaking in Kisumu County, where the Kenya Inter-County Sports and Cultural Association Kikoska Games are being held, Sports Cabinet Secretary Ababu Namwamba, who officially opened the games, said the Ruto-led administration will remain steadfast in cleansing the ministry and all sports federations in the country. Governors who attended the opening ceremony of the games, led by Kisumu Governor Anyang' Nyong'o, called for proper support of the Kikoska Games and even funding, since it's one way of promoting tourism. On his part, Turkana Governor Jeremiah Lomurkai challenged Kikoska leadership to consider hosting the games in counties that fight over resources to bring peace.
You know that the Kenya Kwanza government has placed a premium on the value of sports, and that is why we did not waste any time to engage FIFA, and I personally traveled to Doha to engage the president of FIFA, Mr. Gianni Infantino, to work out an arrangement that led to the lifting of the suspension of Kenya from FIFA.
Because sports are meant actually to build relationships, to unite the people, I'm requesting that this activity also of sporting be taken to areas such as Turkana, areas that are warring against each other, so that we use sport to unite those particular communities, because there is a need for Kenya to become a community that is free from unnecessary fighting.
No doubt that Kikoska has become a big tool to promote tourism in all counties. It is for this reason that I appeal to our counties to take Kikoska very seriously. Let us allocate adequate resources for this activity during our budgeting processes. I urge my colleague governors to ensure Kikoska is included in the budget so that all the 47 devolved units are represented during the annual competition, because it is beneficial to all of us.
Now, over 40 clubs taking part in the Bungoma County Football League have gotten reprieve after receiving training equipment donated by the Lendrix Waswa Foundation. Speaking after the deliberation meeting to discuss the progress of the county league, officials as well as footballers from the club stated that the donations will help them a lot in developing their skill set in the sport. Among the items donated include footballs and jerseys.
Lendrix Waswa, ambaye hawa wote ambao mnaona hawa wamejitokeza, tutaanza we need to be empowered as coaches, and the only way to be empowered is to be given knowledge through training. Teams hazina uniform, ukipita kwa njia kwa mashamba, mtu wako na t-shirt analima, surely tunakuwa tunasaidia mpira kweli? Atakuwa tunasaidia mpira. So ninaomba tu viongozi wacha